Alright, what's up Dominators? Welcome back to the VG ShiHai's channel. Today I present to you my personalized Metacolony deck recipe. So yes, this is the video that you've been waiting for. I said that I'll be releasing Metacolony this week for the deck recipe, as I've done the deck fight actually already. So yes, here it is, the deck. It looks really nice. I think it's a tier around, hovering around 1.5 to around 1.5, tier 1.5 around there. And it's all because of the new Gredora, which allows you to cradle your opponent's unit. So these are the cradle markers right here. And cradle is essentially deleting the rearguard in a sense on your opponent's board. So yes, you delete your opponent's rearguard, so they cannot intercept, they cannot guard, they cannot it loses its abilities and loses its power. So yeah, it only can attack at 0 power. So essentially delete for rearguards. So yeah, Gredora, we have the new layout as usual. So we got the deck, then we got the deck, the cards, then go into the skills of the cards, why do we run them, and last but not least, a little bit of combos here and there at the end. Alright, let's jump right into it with the new VR right here. So I'm just going to take one card for you guys to see. We have Evil Governor, Dark Face Gredora, if I'm not wrong. Yes, Evil Governor, Dark Face Gredora, this card right here. Oops. Alright, so X once per turn, you may call +1, choose 2 of your opponent rearguards and put a cradle marker on them. So you can't put a cradle marker over a cradle marker, so of course that'd be kind of broken. And whenever your opponent's rearguard cradle marker disappears or your opponent calls over it, you pick up your deck and you search your deck for that same grade that the opponent retired, that the rearguard that they retired, the same grade, and then you add it to your hand. So that's one of the reasons why this deck is so annoying to go against. Decks that require really essential rearguards, such as example Excel decks like Tachikaze, or any deck like even Messiah. It's quite annoying because you just cradle the grade 4, they have to keep calling the grade 4 back from the drop zone onto the field. It's really good. So yeah, second skill is when it attacks. When I retire one rearguard, search your deck for 1 grade 3, call it the rearguard circle and shuffle your deck. If you call this unit and that unit, gain power plus 10k. So it's a 22k attacker and you spawn a free grade 3. And not really free, I would say. You retire one unit, spawn a grade 3. But a grade 3, as you can see, the count in this deck is really high. I run 14 grade 3s. I'll get to that later why. And yeah, it helps with the multi-attack of this card right here, which is Hell Demise, and we're gonna get into it later why it's pretty good and why I run only 2 copies. So as for Gredora, yes, it's a really good card to get to remove your opponent's rearguard, especially if your opponent decides to rush you on grade 2, or like they have a really good field that they do not want you to tamper with or anything because they're an Excel deck and they really need the field. You can just use Gredora skill to get rid of the rearguard, and then they're stuck there with their faces like how I'm gonna get rid of the rearguard and call it back to my field right now. Alright, secondly, we got Gredora. Yes, this is actually the reason why I actually play this deck. Combined with Gredora, Gredora is one of the best and the most fun finisher I've ever had in this deck. Like, out of all the games that I play, I think Gredora is what actually saves me from actually selling this deck away because it's so fun. So when placed, this unit gains plus 5k 1 drive. So yeah, it's immediately 17k and 3 drives, and then you put the top card of your opponent's deck onto the drop zone, and if it's grade 3 or greater, this unit gains power plus 10k and drive plus 1 at the end of turn. So yes, it's a little bit of RNG involved, especially for the second skill, but the first skill is a little bit of RNG involved as well. So when you first ride him, you can actually gain up to 4 drives on 27k, so it's a free +2 for you. And then second skill, X once per turn, so +1 grade 3, put the top card of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and your opponent cannot call the same grade as the card from his or her hand at the end of turn. So if you're milling grade 0, your opponent cannot call grade 0s until the end of turn, which is really strong. And especially if you resolve the first skill, it's already a free triple drive, and even additional plus if you mill a grade 3 or greater, because it's a 27k 4 drives, and then your opponent cannot call grade 0s. That's the best case scenario, and I've done that multiple times already against some of my friends. So yeah, sorry for that. But other than that, yes, this card is really solid. I think it's a really solid finisher. Gredora, I would say, is not really a finisher. I would say it's a very tempo deck, or tempo first ride. Second ride can be, of course, Gredora to end your opponent off if there are like 4 or 5 damage, so you can pressure the triple drive and guard restrict. While for Gredora is more of tempo, where you really want to build your hand size up and you want to get rid of your opponent's rearguard so that they are forced to overcall, then you gain more cards in hand, or they are forced to try to push you until you are 6 damage. But ideally, you want to stall out for your Guardian Colio and then end your opponent off with that. Moving on to the other grade 3 that I run, we have 2 Cyclo Matuf, Unrivaled Blade Rogue Cyclo Matuf. So the reasons why I actually run this card is because of number 1, it mills a card, so when it attacks, count +1, so +1, and this unit gains power plus 10k until end of turn, so yes, this gains power, 22k. Then put the top card of your opponent's deck into the drop zone, and is greater 1 or greater, this unit gains crit +1 until end of turn. So it's really good to pressurize with Cyclo Matuf, especially if you're ending your opponent. Cyclo Matuf already gains 5k and 1 drive. In addition to the guard restrict, and this unit possibly having a crit because you're meaning a grade 1 or greater, and then it gains a crit immediately. So it's a 22k attacker, might get bigger because of Guardian Colio, yes, because of Guardian Colio, and guard restrict is there. So I play 2 copies, it's really strong. I've really seen some games where your opponent mills like grade 0 and then I end them off with Cyclo Matuf because, you know, it is a very high power rear guard attack with crit, so they are forced to guard it, if not they just lose. Moving on, we have 2 Intimidating Mutant Darkface. So yes, this came with the new set, it's a double rare instead of triple rare. So when players discard a card from hand, choose one opponent rear guards without any cradle marker in cradle, yes, of course. So it's a -1, I would say, to allow your opponent to -1 as well. So it's not really that good. Reasons why I run it is because of the second skill. So Vanguard rear guard, when it attacks, count +1, choose one opponent's cradle marker, retire it, this unit gains +5k at the end of the battle for each grade of the chosen unit. So you are choosing grade 4 against 20k, grade 3 15, grade 2 10k, and grade 1 5k, yeah. And grade 0, of course, you could only gain power. So on and so forth. 2 copies, I think it's fine. If you want to go a pure Gredora build, yeah, sure, just run 4. But I think other than that, this card is pretty much meh, I would say. It doesn't really do much. I mean, yeah, sure, you count +1, you +1 because, you know, you get to search your deck for the cradle, the rear guard that you cradle because it retires and gain power off that. But I think there are better other cards to play in the deck, such as Guardian Colio, that essentially makes ending your opponent more easier. Yeah, more easier or easier. There's no such as more easier, I think. So yeah, it's just easier. Moving on to Hell Demise. So this card is running because in conjunction with the new Sticky Bolas, where it allows multi-attack of rear guards actually. So when players choose one of opponent's rear guard, rest it and stand one of your rear guard. So that's the first skill and only reason why you actually run it. So you can call it off from Gredora skill, which is you retire one of your rear guards, you call Hell Demise, and Hell Demise stands one of the other rear guard that just attacked before you attack with Gredora, of course. So yes. Second skill, all your opponent's units in the back row in the same column as this unit cannot stand during the stand phase. So yeah, I guess you can't stand the booster, but most of the time you'll be cradling a lot, or like, you know, you'll cradle the front row so that your opponents can't stand the rear guard in the same column. So yeah, I guess that makes sense, I would say. It makes some use, but most of the time you're just running it for the first skill, and that's one of the reasons why I run 2 copies only, because my focus is still not on Gredora, my focus is still on Guardian Colio to end my games. So total, you can see it's a pretty high grade count, it's 14 grade 3s. So moving on to the grade 2s, we got Sticky Bolas, so the new grade 2 that we have. Vanguard rear guard, when placed, count +1 to the top 6, review up to 1 Gredora, so not Gredora, 1 Dark Face unit. So there's only 6 Dark Faces in this deck that I play because it's Dark Face, and then of course we got Gredora because they both have Dark Face in their names. But when running conventional build, of course you have 8 targets instead of 6. And then rear guard skill, when it attacks when it attacks +1, this unit gains +6k at the end of the battle for each of the opponent's rear guards with cradle. And then if this unit power is 20k or greater, draw a card. So on your Gredora turn, you ideally on the count +1, you cradle 2, and this skill is already online because you cradle 2 is +12k already, so it's 9 + 12 is 21. And then if you want a farm hand size, best way is you kill the rear guard off later. I mean, you attack with Sticky Bolas first, then so +1, draw 1. And then you attack with Vanguard, you retire 1 rear guard, you call Hell Demise, and then Hell Demise stands Sticky Bolas. So yes, then Sticky Bolas attacks again, so +1, draw another one, and you know, that's where the combo is. And that featured in the stream as well of Cafe Vanguard when they reviewed Gredora. Moving on, we have Machine Igniters, a pretty old card. Some people might not want to run this card anymore, but I still have space for it, I would say. So yes, when placed, count +1, Vanguard rear guard, review top 6 at any grade 3 If you added this unit, no, if you added, yeah, you shuffle your deck, but regardless, you still shuffle your deck, and this unit gains plus 6k. So it still gains the 6k even though you don't search out a grade 3. And this good thing about this card is you can search any of these grade 3s right here. It doesn't have to be restricted to Dark Phase only. So ideally, you want to search out either Cyclomotive or what's called Gredora. You don't want to search out Hell Demise at all because you ideally want it to be in the deck so that you can call it off Gredora skill and stem off your other rearguards. Last but not least, we got this new rare right here, Melody Mutant Neolympha. Yeah, okay, so this is one of the good grade 2s where in conjunction with Gredora skill makes sense. So continuous Vanguard rearguard during your turn if a Cradle Marker, Cradle Marker is on your opponent's rearguard, this unit gains plus 6k. So it doesn't stack, it's a con skill. So yes, it's almost a continuous 15k attacker. And then when retired from rearguard circle by your card's ability, you swap +1, choose one of your opponent's rearguards without any Cradle Marker and you put a Cradle Marker on it. So Gredora skill states that you have to retire a rearguard in order to spawn a grade 3 from your deck. So you retire this unit, and then you may swap +1, put a Cradle Marker on your opponent's rearguard, and then spawn a grade 3. So ideally, you don't really lose that much of a resource and you gain a Cradle Marker instead. Moving on to the last grade 1s we have. So as for grade 2s, I run 10. Grade 1s, I run 9. Wow, I just realized it's quite low count, but yeah. Alright, moving on to explanation. So first, we have this new grade 1 called Cleared Breeze. When placed, discard a card from your hand, draw a card. If you discard a grade 3, you choose one of your opponent's rearguards without any Cradle Marker and put a Cradle Marker on it. So yeah, very high grade 3 count, deck count as you can see. So 4 off is a must, I think. It helps to fix your hand in the late game as well. If you open with a lot of grade 3s, this card can help you at least dampen the damage of you discarding grade 3s. And at the same time, if your opponent is like Lua or anything and decides to call an early grade 1 to rush you or like an main or whatever, you can just immediately use this unit and cradle the rearguard on turn 1. 2 PGs, like rare PGs. I'm not going to get into the skill. So yes, 2 rare PGs because as I said before, Cradle Markers, as long as they're getting retired by whatever effect where your opponent calls over it or you attack it, as long as it's the same grade as the PG, which is a grade 1, you're able to search it out. So even on your opponent's turn, when they call over a grade 1, for some reason you're able to just pick up a deck and search the PG at hand. So yes, it's a safe haven, I would say, or safe card, a precautionary card in case. This new grade 1 right here, it's a rare. Actually, I was thinking of cutting this out for 2 more Butterfly Officer, and I think you should do that. So this card skill is quite interesting, which is X. Retire this unit, choose one opponent's rearguards with Cradle Marker, retire it, call up to 1 card with the same grade as the unit from your deck to rearguard circle, shuffle your deck. And this ability can only use once per turn, so it's a hard once per turn like main. So at first I ran it and then I realized, yeah, it's great. I mean, not it's great, it's okay. It didn't really have much of an impact. I rather run Butterfly Officer because it gives power and the counter charge and a soul. So now that I realized, because I don't have extra Butterfly Officers, yes, it's hard to find the VEBO1 card. I'm forced to run this card instead. So 2 off, I think it's fine. I recommend you go higher. It's a once per turn skill, so it nets you +1 because you retire itself and then retire the Cradle unit, yes. You spawn a grade same as the Cradle unit, and then you resolve the Cradle Marker skill, which you add a unit in your deck which is same grade as well. So yes, it's a +1 to the field, but yeah, I don't really feel the need to use it sometimes. I just want to leave the rearguard cradle there because it's an important circle. It's like a front rearguard circle, and your opponents, in order for them to attack or call units, you have to call over it in order to attack my face. So it will just be auto retire and you can just search your deck yourself. So ideally, you want to swap this out for a Butterfly Officer, and if you're gonna get to now, which is on place, rearguard circle only. Rest this unit, choose up to 1 of the rearguards and engage power +10k. If you choose at the end of your turn, put that unit into your soul and counter charge 1. So ideally, what is the best way to use this is on your Gredora turn when you want to push using what's called Sticky Bolas. So you can call multiple copies through Sticky Bolas. Immediately the skill will be activated as long as you activate 2 or more. As long as you activate 2 or more of the effects. And then in turns where you are on Guardian Colio, you can put it on Cyclomotive or any other unit that has really big power. Can always be on sticky bolas again, especially if you got opponent has a lot of cradle units, but ideally best on second motif. So I recommend at least 2 to 4 copies of Butterfly Officer if you're playing in this build. I really don't want to run this anymore. I'm still searching for my 2 more Butterfly Officers so I can make it more consistent, but for now this is the backup choice, I would say. And for triggers, since I'm running the draw PGs, the grade 1 PGs, I'm forced to run 2 draws, the 10 crits, and then 4 heals. So yes, interesting trigger lineup, but as I said before, trigger lineup is completely up to you guys. It's completely up to me. It's free, flexible, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that's about it for the deck recipe. Hope you guys liked it. As I said before, this Friday will be Fuki and Furai and Genkai reviews on the stream. I will probably not stream because unfortunately I am busy on Friday, but I'll be giving my thoughts on it in another video. But for now, I'll try my best to upload probably another deck fight before the Friday stream, maybe featuring a little bit more Nuba, or I'll feature Rising. Hopefully I can try. But for now, thank you much Dominators for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!